I joined the exhibition. Yeah. Because I've noticed also with the participants and the ambiance of the event, they are aware people. Because of my business, it's not something easy to be aware of, you know. And I think, yeah, the organization and the ladies, yeah, it's suitable for the business as well. Yeah.
I think anybody coming here today should be able to give exposure to their business. If it's anyone that is yet to start a business, I think this is a great forum to encourage you to start something, because it's going to give you realistic tools. It's going to have real life individuals who were at this position at some point, and through the networking skills that they have attained as programs like the LEC, they've managed to make successes of their businesses, and they're still growing. What I'm expecting for myself, my takeaway is I'm excited to share my knowledge. I think, knowledge is power, and the more you give out, you're helping your community to be better at the end of the day. And I'm excited to receive knowledge in turn. We can't be experts in every field, so it's always great when you can have other ladies who are leading in their respective fields, sharing knowledge, and just to be inspired by everybody's stories and what they have brought to the table.
My name is Lubna Sabah, and I'm an ICF certified coach. I work with entrepreneurs and startups who want to promote their brands on social media. And I'm happy to be part of this event because I'm also running an agency which is called Social Buzz. And Social Buzz, we take care of all types of brands that want to put themselves out there. They want to reach the right clients. They want to make sales. So we do that through content creation. We do that through helping them have a strategy that they can follow in their marketing, especially in the digital world. I'm very excited to be here because I'm surrounded by amazing, inspiring, and successful women, all starting up with really nice businesses, services, and products. So we're going to be talking about how to help them promote their product, how they can reach out to their customers, how they can find proper partnership with other businesses or other people to collaborate with. So the discussion is going to be covering lots of different things around, especially in the wellness and health and wellness sector. So after the event, I'm sure that I'm going to be learning so much from the other people, from their experiences, and we're all going to be adding value to each other. And hopefully this will help us enhance and grow our businesses.
My name is Cheryl Genfi. So actually, I've heard from a friend of a friend. She's a panelist as well. Her name is Nika, and she told me about this event and the group itself. Well, first and foremost, I'm a lady, and I'm an entrepreneur, so it just makes sense for me to be here, right? And I am 2 years in for my business, so I do want to get more connections and network and have like-minded people around me as well. So this is an awesome opportunity. Yeah, exactly. Of course. I think it's important to have network and community because that's how we get to where we need to be. So I would love to be a part of a group like this, and it's my first time hearing about it, so I'm excited. Yeah.
Hi, so I'm Minerva. Minerva Prince, so I'm actually a speaker today. The Ladies Entrepreneurial Club is for like-minded women who have entrepreneurial skills but need a bit of guidance. So it's a great networking area where you can meet people, get to share your experiences, your struggles, your stories, and then encourage each other. So the whole point of today is to be able to learn because it's a brand new year. So it's a great start to start the year. It's a great way to say, okay, cool, I'm ready to work on this business, continue to build this business, or take this business to another level. So I'm just very excited today to speak, to share some gems, meet some new people, meet some vendors, and make some new friends.
Okay, so I saw it on Instagram. It popped in my feed, and I checked it out, and it was something that I would like to
take part in and learn, because as an entrepreneur, you need to still grow, learn new things, and also network. Yeah.
So our first panel is actually going to be panel number 2, which is discussing packaging and exporting your wellness products and services outside of Ghana. Okay? So for that, we have Sherelle. Woo! You got to cheer them on, guys. Cheer them on. We have Impo. So we'll go to the floor. So first off, Solomon.
The knowledge of pranic healing has come to revolutionize, the water space. One thing we overlook is emotional health. Every time you talk about, physical health, diabetes, hypertension, what have you, and most of us are not aware of what our own emotions are doing to us.
Thank you. So quite a few people, I think, or a few people had heard of Solomon before. Who was it? You heard of Solomon before? Yes. It was you, right?
Yeah.
So my first question actually is to you and Poe. So you work quite closely with the export kind of space. And I guess anyone that's wanting to export their services outside of Ghana is going to want to be able to know what are the first 3 things, I guess, they need to have together to even be able to consider being able to export.
I think your brand or your success needs to be at home. You need to know that there is a market, firstly, before trying to cross the border somewhere else to a place where you don't necessarily know. Secondly, to ready yourself for export as a business in country, there's always requirements in order to take your goods out. Special certifications, codes. I think being in the industry that you're in, you need to get yourself familiarized with what that is. If you're exporting food, there's certain certification that needs to come with that. Depending which country you're sending it to, you need to understand what they need when it gets to that border. So there's a whole lot of education that needs to happen at that point. But in the same time, you need to be identifying your market within said country you want to export to, because it's also a very expensive exercise. I don't know how many people are aware, but logistics has become one of the most expensive things in the last 2 years because of COVID, and it's not getting any better. So you need to take that into account, and the cost, and if they are competitive in the new country that you want to go to, and will you be market, your product will it be market related. So there's a lot of homework to be done. It is not impossible, but you need to just educate yourself freehand and ready yourself accordingly. It's always best if you can. Banks these days are starting to move in a space where they are trying to be a one-stop shop for importers and exporters. So whether it's your logistical needs, whether it's your financing needs, your clearance needs, so that because they understand that business owners aren't the experts of all these other things, but this is where a lot of money wastage can also take place if you don't know how to go about it.
Thank you, I was taking notes. I don't know if I've said this before, but I'm like the biggest student of these events. That's how I export. Thank you. Okay, so then in that case, I guess one of the first things you mentioned was about brand. And Sherelle, you work in design. So that's like graphic design, branding, I'm assuming. So I guess what are the 3 mistakes you find entrepreneurs and businesses make when it comes to branding that from your experience prevents them from being able to achieve step 1 that Impo mentioned?
So the first biggest mistake I feel like I see is too much importance when it comes to the aesthetics. Aesthetics is important, but at the end of the day, you see a lot of brands who don't even care about their aesthetics, and they're doing really good. So yeah, it's important to have a nice brand and make sure everything's cohesive, but you want to make sure you have everything else complete. Because if you don't have X, Y, and Z done, it doesn't matter if it's pretty and it's cute. If your customer service is not doing well, you don't care how it looks, right? Another thing I see, I feel like is important, is making sure you're in it for the right reasons. Because a lot of people do brands or do certain things. Like, I know a lot of people who are good at braiding hair. And another thing would probably be taking your time and understanding what you're doing, because you want to make sure your brand is growing slowly and surely. You don't want to do anything fast and put it out there. Just, fast money is not long money. You want to make sure it's nice, slow and steady, and it grows, and it has a good foundation, and it stays that way, right?
My name is Cookie Esel-Kumsin. I'm coming from KEK Insurance Brokers. We're the leading insurance broking firm in Ghana. We've been around for 32 years. And since we turned 2 years old, we've actually been able to maintain the #1 position consecutively for the last 30 years. Now, if you're like me, I need to budget. I spend more than I earn. When you raise your hands up if you're in there. Okay. So, especially for starting a business, you need to budget. You need to actually know what goes into the setup. I'll run through the others quickly. Debt, savings and investments, and finally, where our focal point of the discussion will be, is protection and insurance. Now, Google said this, I didn't. So it made this talk so much more easier and more relevant for me. So we all know, I think, well, most of us know, insurance covers losses emanating from the areas I mentioned earlier. So fire, burglary, legal liabilities, infidelity of your employees. I think Impo mentioned strike. Strike is covered in asset or risk. So if you have a factory and something happens and your staff are part of a union and they strike, you can claim what you've lost in the period that you're losing in production or revenue or so on and so forth. It also covers accidental damages. During the flood, I don't know if a lot of you have warehouses or offices, a lot of our finished goods, raw materials, stock, and so on and so forth were affected by floods. And all the areas that I've mentioned are areas that you are unable to financially plan for. They're unforeseeable, they're unpredictable, they are unplannable, basically. The two areas that you would have to consider when running or setting up two areas of insurance. So life insurance and non-life insurance. We'll refer to non-life insurance as general insurance. For life insurance, I think all of us as individuals, if you are a mother, a wife, if you have parents who you take care of, if you have dependents, it's financially imperative to get life insurance. It provides continuity of normalcy for your families, sometimes for continuity for your business. If anyone depends on your salary or any income you bring in, it's imperative to have life insurance. I work for an insurance broking firm, and brokers are insurance professionals. So I myself am a chartered insurer, and what this means is that I have the right expertise and experience to go in your place and purchase an insurance. With insurance brokers, we also handle your claims 100% free. You don't pay a penny to an insurance broker. The reason is because when you go direct to an insurer, you're going to get the same quotation that if you came through me, you would go to. The benefit of going with a broker is sometimes you may actually get cheaper premiums. A broker actually scours the market, so I would probably go to 3-4 insurance companies to understand what the pricing situation is that, and even sometimes the policy options.
I love your energy, I love our energy, and I am so happy to be part of this initiative. This is the first time I am joining you. I understand it is the second edition organized by our beautiful superwoman, Miss Tego, Tanisha, and I am so happy to be part of this event. And I also get to meet all the amazing women from all kinds of backgrounds.
Most of the women put on weight because of self-sustain or extain or whatever you will call it. So you are nice, young, and beautiful, and then you decided to get married because you feel you have to be married for the society. And when you get married, you start having children. You put on so much weight, you go to work, you come home, you cook, and you don't realize that life is more to that. You just stick yourself into a panel where you feel like if your husband go out and have an affair, you become fat. If your husband look at a girl, you eat too much. So I went into sex therapy because in that way, most of my clients are not confident in themselves. They feel like they put on weight, they have to take care of the children, they have to help their husband bring money home, and they forget the beauty is not in the physical thing, it's inside of you. So most of my clients are also lucky in the advantage of being a jungle in bed.
When I was in college, I realized that a lot of my friends were suffering from depression and anxiety. And just as an overachieving student myself, it was a bit weird when I talked to people and I'm like, okay, I'm depressed, I really don't feel like going to class. If I spoke about that outside of my university, it was a bit uncomfortable, and I remember trying to find therapists here in Africa. It was really, really difficult. So I would end up booking therapists in the US who probably didn't understand how we deal with mental health as Africans. So what I started doing was running mental health campaigns across the school. I joined the guidance and counseling department, assisting freshmen, onboarding them into the university culture, just being there for people or for my friends who wanted somebody to confide into. And because I was in the computer science space and I love technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence, I started a company called Lead Africa when I was in my sophomore year with the guidance and counseling department in my school. And what we've basically done is to build a mobile app that is powered by AI and machine learning algorithms to connect wellness service providers with the college students. That's our market so far because that's what I understand.
Thank you so much, Lindy Way. Please hand it over to Catherine. Hello, Catherine.
My name is Catherine Wilson. I am the managing partner for a sports company. I think it's whenever someone asks me, what do you do? When I'm like, I run a sports company in Ghana. It's like so random. They're like, really? Yeah. So we run Millennium Marathon. It's Ghana's first internationally certified half marathon. And we also have a tennis side to what we do, where we provide tennis coaching to a lot of schools in Ghana, but also particularly women. So we run an initiative called She Plays GH, where we're trying to bring women who are trying to learn how to play tennis together, to learn but also to play with each other, because we realized there was a gap with a lot of women who wanted to learn or play sports. Either they were shy or they didn't feel comfortable because it was always men. They didn't have any other women to play with. So that's why we started that initiative.
So again, my name is Erica Daniel, and I am an intimacy coach. As an intimacy coach, I work with individuals to deepen their emotional and physical relationships, not just with partners, but within the entire context of the world. And the reason I say that is because when you go to work, you spend most of your time with your colleagues, but you will really be surprised to see how the most vulnerable side of who you are shows up in that environment. You'll also start to notice that things that transpired in your youth or your childhood, or maybe from your years of exploring your sexuality, how that resurfaces in your current relationships. So I really help you dive in and explore what's happening inside, how is that showing up outside, and how do you really become one with your true, authentic self. Now, a lot of people are like, ooh, kind of like Daniel was saying, she's on the sex therapy side. You know, like, woo, shake, shake, and do it. But how can I do this? How can I do that? Show me how to swing my leg to the left and right. And I'm like, well, show me you can walk first. And so a lot of it does boil down to how do you help anybody and increase their confidence in knowing that they belong in an intimate space and that what they want, what they desire, and how they want to show up deserves to be stated, deserves to be appreciated, and deserves to be shown to the world.
What's the main reason why everybody gets into business? Because you may love what you do, you love what you have, the products, the service, but if it's not making you money, is there any point? No, right? So we're going to talk about a few points very quickly. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to keep it brief. The first one is, do you know who your customer is? Right? If you identified who exactly your product or your service is for. Because you can have an amazing product, you can have an amazing service, but nobody knows about it, and you're not targeting your customers because you don't know exactly who it is that this product or service is for. So have you identified that customer? Now, once you've identified that customer, do they know you? Right, so just like Cookie came up earlier today, insurance is something we all know about, but if she did not come and talk about her product, being number one as well, I did not even know that. I didn't know that she existed. But I am actually a customer for her. I'm a potential, right? Yeah, with all the business cards, all the details they collected. So I'm sure there's many of us in this room who have an amazing product, amazing service, and you have people out there who could be your customers who don't even know about you. Cool, so you have to identify your customer and then get yourself to your customer. So they have to know about you. Alrighty, second one is, what's the customer experience? What does your customer have to go through to get to you? Okay, now we have a few diasporans in the building. And if I'm correct, sweetie, please remind me your name.
Sherelle.
Sherelle, okay. She talks about how earlier with Ghanaians, you have to do a lot more work to get things done. So let's say, for example, you have a company, somebody will walk in and your staff is just sitting there like, okay. Literally, somebody's walked into your store ready to buy something and the person's there like, I don't care. If you buy, you don't buy. My madam will pay me. I don't care. Right? But you have to make it into a system, because that's why your multinationals are able to run and have businesses for years and years and years. So it's a process that, okay, as soon as the customer walks through the door, I don't care how you feel, if it's raining, you're angry, you're sad, you're gonna get up and greet that customer. So you're gonna create that process for your customer experience. What's the journey that your customer is gonna go through to enjoy your product and service? Because if they enjoy it, they're gonna come back.
Anything you ever see me doing, it's because I want to do that.
Yeah.
I have a passion for doing it. And even sometimes I'm uncomfortable doing certain things. I never would have been doing this 2 years ago. My confidence level was not there. 3 years ago, 5 years ago, when I first started out being homeless, and I only had 2 outfits to wear to these type of events, and I would hope that this chick is not at the next one, but she can't tell that I have that same outfit on. I'm talking about real entrepreneurship, getting on the bus and going to these events, and getting off the stop 2 blocks before so they don't see me, because I was so self-conscious about what they thought of me. But I had to realize it's what I think of me.
Exactly.
So love yourself and know who you are. If you feel like your hobby can make you money, baby, then you make your money. There's Etsy, there's all kind of other websites that little hobby things can happen. But if you're ready to be an entrepreneur, then you be that.
Exactly.
Okay?
Get it.